Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Crossing Swords. As always, I'm Andrew.
And I'm a little perplexed as to why we did the swords.
It felt a bit Rick and Morty.
Typo? Oh, no, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
know what I mean?
I think we should do that. We should just
Felt a
do,
bit meta.
we should do loads of voices throughout the pod that just mostly sound like our
Should we
voices.
break the fourth wall more? A monologue
do we not?
to camera.
I mean, let's do it. Do you want to go first? Since
No,
this was your baby.
I wasn't ready for it, so you absolutely go
Oh,
first.
I'm sorry. You've got to be ready for it.
Yeah.
This guy, you talk to him, you get him nice and prepped, you big up his ego, and when time comes to shine, he's never ready.
You never fluff me quite enough.
I fluff plenty.
A
It's
little
like that
bit.
shit. I've had a whole career in fluffing.
Could you imagine that? What would you tell people on dates? What's your job? Like fluff.
Yeah, I don't know. Put it this way: a night with me is
Does
like a
that
busman's
count
holiday.
Does that count as sex work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you've got a penis in your mouth
Well,
for
we're
your
assuming oral
job,
sex.
for your job. If you've got a penis in your hand or your mouth for a job,
Like, could you imagine the poor person? Oh, I'm not going to assume it's a female doing this role. There's absolutely no reason why it couldn't be a man as well. All power to you guys. But like, you're there for another job. Maybe you're there just to be a PA, and they're like, "Look, we don't quite have you in mind for this position. There is another position, however, we think you'd be perfect."
yeah,
for.
we need help.
Yeah.
That's the start of a porno in
What do you
itself.
think they call it in the porn industry? Like the official title? They're not going like your job title wouldn't be fluffer. It would be.
Oh, it'd be like performer assistant or something.
Or like senior administrative assistant to performer.
Yes, it would be something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you've described is the start of a porno. Oh, we didn't have you in mind for this role, but we had you in mind for another role. Oh, what's the role? Well,
What do you do?
bring in the boys.
All of them suffer with ED. You can get them hard, you get the job.
That would be a hell of a test.
Yeah, that would actually. Came up with that on the fly,
That'd
bro.
be a hell of a test.
So I should be in story writing.
Listen, these guys are all premature. What you need to do is get them up, but
Yeah.
not blown.
Yeah.
All right.
Keep them at full mast.
If I see any drips on the floor, it's game over. But you just got to keep them
You can't even get
ready
them to
to go.
pre-cum.
No, these guys don't pre-cum. They just come.
They just come.
They just come.
Right, they're just physically
They're just
incapable.
they're just
They're
bang.
all about action. They save it all.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yep. I've read about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll read your
Where
blog.
did you read that? My blog.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's odd that I didn't know that then, isn't it?
I see you playing the part for the camera.
Well, I'm all about
Yeah. Oh,
serving the audience.
how do you say it? Fluffer. Sorry, what is that? How do you say that word? You said porn.
How do you
I'm
think
not aware of it.
I got to where I am now, Jay? Just fluffing my way through life.
Fluffing your way to the top.
Yeah.
It's a good way to go. It's a very popular way to go.
It's the way most do it.
Yeah. Most probably do more than
David
fluff.
Beckham absolutely fluffed his way to the top.
I feel like you're more in like a, what's the word? Like a kind of cuckolded lifestyle if you're fluffing your way to the top. You're not actually doing the job. You're just getting someone ready to do the
No, but I
job.
actually think that's perfect. I don't have to take hot shots to the face. Do you know what I mean? Or to the throat.
Just a
hot
little
cock.
bit of dick in the mouth.
And Fanny, it's not just men that need fluffing.
Is it not?
No.
Have they got to keep them wet?
Yeah.
I don't know what you can. Like, okay, I've been blunt, but
I don't know why
I've
that
got
made
to.
me
I've
feel
got to
really
the. You know,
awkward.
I got to the point, but the point is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to keep them wet.
Do you think one person does both? Like if you had a one-on-one,
No, I reckon there's a team.
but if you had a one-on-one porn scene,
Yeah.
would two fluffers be a bit of a waste on the accounts? Would you just have one to do
no,
both?
because look, I think actors are delicate flowers. They need to be looked after. They need the right environment. You know, what you don't want from your fluffer is them to be distracted by serving someone else at the same time.
By squirrels or something.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that?
Look at those nuts.
Hey, now we started.
Hey.
Yeah, bit of blue for the dads.
Yeah.
Actually, the whole bit is for the dads, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you're saying if you ran a porn studio, only one fluffer, how many people?
It would depend on what kind of shoot we're going for.
What about a
Do you
freeway?
know what I mean? A freeway. Depends. How many scenes is this film? Do you know what I mean? How long is the shoot?
It's feature length.
Yeah, then two.
Two.
Two Fluffers.
Are they both on duty at the same time or split shifts?
Well, they're both off shift when the shoot's happening, right? Like when action's called, they're off shift.
So you think they need to be there all day, every day?
Yeah. Yeah.
How well are you paying
If
them?
the actors are there, the Fluffers are there.
Can't go home until your boss does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. You run a tight
You
ship.
can't leave until your boss comes.
Well, no, but they're not supposed to, are they?
But then it's the end of the shoot, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Game over.
You know, it's not
Unless
the end
you're
of the shoot,
really, unless you're really good, then you get them going again.
though. Yeah. Well, that's what you're paying them for, isn't it?
And no, I don't know that's not the end of the shoot. I've never actually been on a porn set.
Yeah.
I have the look of someone who's been on a porn set.
Yeah.
I have the air.
You've paid to be backstage.
I have the vibes of a porn mogul,
Do you?
but I've never actually.
Is it because it just goes hand in hand with generational wealth?
Nice little pun on the fluffing game there, my man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it does go hand in hand. You know, if you've got a bit of money but not a lot of money,
Do you know what? I didn't even realise I did that.
good start. Didn't think we'd spend this on talking about fluffing.
No, I didn't intend
But in
to
a
bring
way,
it up either. I don't even know how we got here.
We've sort of fluffed the episode. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now the listeners are nice, and now their ears are nice and hard and
They're wet for us.
waiting for our information.
Their ears are wet for us. Because that's what you want for a podcast listener. You want their ears as wet as possible.
Absolutely sopping.
Yeah.
Like a monsoon.
Does it not make it difficult to wear like headphones?
Does it when they're that erect? The erection keeps them up.
Right.
Right, you hang them on.
Right, okay.
And the wetness helps absorb all the information
Right, that makes sense.
that we throw at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the scientists are with me on this one. Don't look into it. The science is with me.
You're sounding an awful lot like Boris Johnson.
Get stuffed.
Get stuffed.
That's what you wanted. Right, should
It
we
was
change
porn,
the subject?
porn relevant. Yeah, go on.
What are we here to talk about today, Jack?
I don't know. You said change the subject. Like that's a trigger for you to change the subject.
No, but I triggered into another, like a car braked. I did some of the work. You now need to.
This guy every time.
Hey, don't steal my breaking of the fourth wall.
You didn't even want to do
It
it,
really pisses me off when Jake does that.
so it should. Step up to the plate, man.
I'm here. I'm stepped up.
We're here to talk about a few things.
Yeah.
My man, we're here to talk about just a handful of topical topics
Yeah.
from the last couple of weeks or so.
Yeah, and one of
Fair.
which is I think that's fair. And one
Excellent. Job done. Let's go home.
yeah, and we done that in under 8 minutes. It's a
We're the
record.
Fluffers.
Yeah.
We're just the Fluffers
We're
now.
just here to get you started,
just prep.
and then you go watch another podcast.
And then you do the legwork yourself.
Yeah, but an informational one because of how wet you're going to be. You want
to get it. Yeah.
Like something like This Is History, something like that. Good wholesome content.
Yep.
So yeah, just turn off right now.
Unless you're really turned on.
Yeah, unless you want more.
I think they want more. I'm
think
hearing.
they want more.
I'm listening. Yeah, they want more.
And speaking of wanting more, there's someone in the
more.
public life who would want more. They don't want to leave.
Oh, there's many. Are you talking about Nadine Dorries or Boris Johnson?
All of them,
Yeah,
but especially Boris Johnson.
yeah. He's sort of been scuttled out for now.
I mean, he's
Or in his, let's
he's
not
jumped
forget.
before he was thrown, basically.
Let's not forget his resignation speech from Hasta la Vista, baby.
Yeah, which actually I almost respected because it was like a little wink to camera, wasn't it? It's like
I respect nothing about the man. I find it physically
I
impossible.
appreciate showmanship where I see it. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, how far would you take that?
And it felt like a breaking of the fourth wall, which just feels on brand with this episode. Don't read into it any more than that.
I never would.
No.
Never would. Yeah, he jumped ship before he was pushed, really.
Yeah, he got the preliminary report into whether he misled Parliament. Because this is the thing, the debate isn't did he do anything wrong. He did do something wrong. He was fined for it. The question was, did he lie to Parliament or mislead Parliament? And resoundingly, the answer was yes.
Yeah. It's so funny that some of his supporters sort of saying, well, it's, what do they say? It's like a parliamentary coup. It's a deliberately orchestrated kangaroo court. And it's like, no. A panel found him guilty.
Mostly conservative as well.
A panel found him guilty because he was guilty.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the thing
They were
is-
asked the question, can you prove that he did a thing? And quite easily, they could find that he did the thing.
Yeah.
What makes me think is there should be some kind of retrospective apology to Dawn Butler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What for?
For when she was kicked out of Parliament for calling Boris Johnson a liar.
Oh, right.
Which has now obviously been proven by a panel of, like you said, mostly Conservative MP, but regardless of whether they are, that he absolutely did lie to Parliament.
Yeah.
So I feel like there should become some kind of retrospective retractment of her punishment, even though she served it, but on the record, you take it off.
Yeah, you shouldn't have been punished for
Yeah,
telling the truth. What do you think of the punishment? Like, obviously, he doesn't actually face it, but...
Well, there is still some punishment he's being faced with.
Yeah.
Which is the ban.
Yeah. Basically, apparently, whenever an MP stands down, they're entitled to a pass for entry on the parliamentary estates. They're allowed access. They can still use certain facilities without being a guest.
Yeah.
And that's been refused. Yeah.
I think it's right. I think he should go to prison.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, the panel can't find that. They can just find whether he deliberately misled Parliament or not.
Yeah.
Which he did. And that was only on that occasion. He also deliberately misled Parliament when he prorogued it.
Yeah.
Lied to the Queen. That was over the
Handed out
prorogation.
billions to his mates.
Yeah.
And his mates.
So, but I think, the police should be getting involved a lot more than that. The Privileges Committee took very little time and a fair amount of evidence, but a lot of deleted evidence. Very little time to conclude that, yes, absolutely, rules were broken. You knew they were broken. You lied about them. So I don't know why the police couldn't at the time find. Well, we know why, but what do you make of it?
Well, in terms of because the thing is, his punishment also, I don't know. As you said, he should be facing criminal charges for his behaviour and what he's done. And the thing is, my main concern with him isn't even necessarily what he's done, it's the long-lasting effect it has. And that's, for me, the lowering of standards in our politics, the lowering of expectations and acceptance levels. Because the thing is, the only reason he actually ever left wasn't because of public support. It was because his own people eventually had no choice but to turn on him.
And here's the thing. One of my favourite things is that all of his diehard supporters that were like, this is a joke, this is ridiculous, were conveniently not around to vote on whether the Privileges Committee report should be actioned.
Yeah.
So he lost the vote. They lost the vote by 354 to 7, which, do you know what? As much as I dislike their politics and disagree with them, I sort of respect the 7 for at least having enough of a backbone to vote for what they believed in. Yeah. Yeah. Rather than being like, oh, well, I do know you don't want to get that on your record. So you're like, well, I'm actually, it's a joke and it shouldn't pass. Are you going to vote against it? Well, I mean, I'm actually out that night.
I guess for me, I don't really understand why, if you've been a staunch supporter of Boris up until now, why you wouldn't just vote for him anyway. Everyone knows you're a supporter of him anyway. You can't claim you didn't support him because for one vote you didn't back him.
Can I say as well, by the way, I've just got to say this because I know you're not a fan, but the Ashes is underway.
Yeah.
We won't dwell on it, but
I saw you had an emotional roller coaster on Twitter.
Oh, it's so exciting! It's so
exciting.
I have
no idea what happened.
We lost, but
I heard we were in like a big lead or something.
No, it was a really what happened was, over a 5-day test, it shouldn't really be going down to the wire that much, but it was. It did go down to the wire. We needed 2 wickets, and they had 50 left to get. They needed 50 runs, and we needed 2 wickets.
Is this to win the Ashes?
No, just the first test in the Ashes. But
for fuck's sake, 5 days.
Ben Stokes declared on the first day 393 for 8.
Right.
And a lot of people are like, is that too low? But it's their way. They want to get in and bat. They want to bowl at Australia for a few, like an hour or so in the evening. That's neither here nor there. But Toby Tarrant tweeted to say that Boris Johnson, as unfortunate as it looks to him to have lost by such a resounding number, they said it does look like a score that Ben Stokes would declare on day one of a test. 354 for 7.
A nice little cricket burn from Toby Tarrant.
It's a nice little burn. What have you got laughter on there?
Oh, bro!
Come on, bro. I want this because I want to tee this up.
Laughter.
Nadine Dorries. Am I right?
Yeah, she is a joke.
Yeah, the fact that she resigned because
Yeah.
she was told to make it, and we're going to talk about the honours list, but to make it into Boris's to actually get approved in Boris's honours list,
Yeah.
you'll have to resign. So she went, "Yep, all right, I'm out." And then they went, "Yeah, we're not going to approve you." So now she's temporarily unresigned. She's postponed her resignation.
Has she actually?
Resignment. She's postponed her resignation until she can get to the bottom of whether she can actually get on the honours list or not.
Do you feel for her at all, Jake?
I feel for the same people that I always feel for when we discuss politics these days. I feel for the satirists and the comedians.
Yeah.
I feel like, how can you parody that is already in itself a parody?
Yeah.
How do you parody that?
I don't know.
How do you parody Nadine Dorries as like everything she's ever done?
I don't know. There's a small part of me, and it's a very small part, where I can imagine a world
I've seen that
where
part.
you decide to completely hitch yourself to a particular wagon. You put all your eggs in one basket, and this person has promised you the world that no matter what happens, if the shit hits the fan, you're going to get X. And then to follow through with all of it, do all of it, be one of the scummiest people in the country, to go live on television and betray her roots, the city she came from,
That's
her
one of
constituents, to even use the city she came from as a sob story afterwards. Like, to do all of that and then find out at the end of it, actually,
oh my God,
you're not going to get what you were
that's one of the
promised.
funniest things, is that's her seems to be her go-to move lately on her Talk TV show, or whatever she's on, Talk
on
TV
GB
or
News.
GB News, is to claim that everyone blocking her is like a posh boy trying to block her, a working class lass from Yorkshire or wherever the fuck she
Yeah.
claims to be from. And it's like James O'Brien, I think, said it. I caught a bit of his show the other day, and he said that's a very common sign of bullies. When they get caught out, they play the victim,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, poor me," and it's like, no, not you. You're the bad person in this. But I mean, everything about it's so funny. But can I ask you a question?
Please do.
I'm going to anyway. Thank you. Have you hitched yourself entirely to me
What?
in the way that Doris hitched herself to
No.
Boris? Have you hitched yourself to me?
Like, I know we joke about it a lot, but if the allegations of noncery were to come out, I wouldn't stick by you, I've got to be honest. Like, an affair on your missus, like, look, I'm not going to judge, these things happen. You know, I don't approve of it, but, you know.
What about some of the Borisy things?
What, like proroguing Parliament, lying to the Queen,
If I just decided to just stop
partying and
following
doing
laws,
Charlie through the
basically,
whole lockdown.
yeah. If I just stopped doing laws and started doing drugs and stuff, would you stick by me?
Depends what I was being offered in return, I guess.
To be completely honest, and I probably shouldn't admit this on air, I mostly just follow the laws I want anyway.
Yeah. Isn't that how
I don't
most
know,
people live?
yeah.
I think that's just an accurate representation of how everyone lives.
Yeah, there are some laws I think, that's stupid, I'm not going to follow it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But
Legally,
I don't want to really pick into what those are.
I'd just like to go down the Lorraine Kelly route here and say that legally
Is
I
she a
am
nonce?
a characterisation of myself.
Right.
I play a version of myself on the podcast, so nothing that I say on air can be tied to me legally
Yeah.
because it's the character I play saying these things.
Right, okay.
It's not me.
Did you know Keith Lemon wasn't a real person?
Yeah, Lee Francis is his name.
I had no idea. I only found
Did
that
you?
out today. I was today years old.
He was the Bo Selector guy, you know, with the big
I
plastic
don't think
heads.
I ever watched it.
No, but I'm aware, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. Yeah.
No,
So,
why
so
would you?
you're the alter ego of Jake, is what you're saying.
Sort of, but it's like, are you
You're
aware of that
what?
Lorraine Kelly thing?
No, what is she saying, that who she is on This Morning isn't an accurate
No,
representation
she sort
of her?
of tried to say that she sort of tried to almost copyright herself by saying that she plays.
Is
she
this
plays-
an AI thing?
No. She was like, when I'm on air, I'm not Lorraine Kelly. I'm playing Lorraine Kelly, the TV host. And it was, I can't remember what the accusation was that she was trying to dodge, or the legal thing she was trying to claim,
Yeah.
or claim
It's a
ownership
very odd
of.
way to behave.
It was a really odd
morning
thing to
TV
say, and it
host.
was like, what the fuck, man? You lot are so dodgy.
Why are
over
we
IT.
going this
Do
deep
you know
on
what? The
morning
the
television?
signs were there at ITV from a long
The
time. The
shit's
ITV
going
daytime
down.
show. The team's there.
Maybe I
the
need to
signs
watch
are
it
there.
more to see what's going on.
I don't think you see the in front
Do
of
you
the
know
scenes.
who I really feel for in the Schofield situation? There's a lot of people we should
The
feel
chap?
for. No, Gino D'Acampo.
Gino, why?
All of his most viral moments
Oh, well, with
through the
Phil
start of his
Schofield.
career are with Phil Schofield. They can never be
Yeah.
shown on television again.
Can they not?
Well, no, of course they can't.
And Christ knows he doesn't want people to watch Family Fortunes again.
I
Actually,
d-
do you know what? I thought he was all right on that. I've seen a
Yeah.
couple of episodes. I thought he was all right.
I think he's a bit of a prima donna, and I've
I've
heard
been
he's got
harsh.
financial problems.
Do you know what? Do you know the sunglasses I came in wearing today?
Yeah,
When I tried them on,
I did notice them.
I
by the way. It's
thought-
hard not to.
I thought Gino D'Acampo when I tried them on, but I kind of liked it, so I went with them anyway.
Is that who you think you look like?
No, not at all.
Oh,
but when I
okay.
saw them,
You
because
just
of the
gave
kind
off
of
Gino vibes.
because of the colour of them and the tint on them, I
Do you-
thought these are a bit
What
Gino.
would have
These.
made me agree would have been the Bono shirt as well. If you were wearing both, it would have screamed, "I think I'm Mediterranean." Do you know what I mean?
I reckon I could pull it off.
Yeah. Oh, you absolutely could.
That's like the nicest thing you've ever said.
You look like someone that's got enough money to live in, I don't know, Italy, Greece, anywhere around there.
Yeah,
Do you know what
look
I mean?
like.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
don't.
yeah, yeah. No, I don't.
No.
I don't. Not
Only in the winter.
Not till the parents have that accident.
Yeah, and you get half of the holiday home.
Half the millions.
Yeah,
Till then, I'm just a poor boy.
living in a mansion.
Nobody likes me. Yeah, and living in a
You've
mansion.
only got 2 rooms to yourself.
Well, 2 wings.
So
But you know, it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
how many wings are there?
Well, you know, I'm a peacock. You got to let me
Just
fly. There's
Makes
got to
sense.
be some wings.
But yeah,
I completely forgot what
we
we were talking
Boris
about. We're just
Johnson.
ripping into Nadine Dorries and Boris
And
Johnson.
Nadine Dorries. Yeah, Nadine
Yeah.
Dorries is from Liverpool.
Yeah, well, wherever the fuck she says she's from.
Yeah, but even the Liverpoolians are like, you're not Scouse, so you were born in wherever. They've got like divides in the city of where you can be called Scouse and not.
Have they?
Yeah,
She
yeah.
was probably born on the Wirral.
It wasn't it was Selby, I think.
Okay.
Maybe. And I think apparently that's like one of the non-Scouse bits of Liverpool.
It'd be a bit like being born in.
Apparently it's to do with the colour of your bin. If you don't have a purple bin, you're not Scouse.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot of British culture is
it's
divided
a
on the
level of
bins.
petty I can
Yeah.
understand.
It'd be like, yeah, being born in like Caterham or something. I'm trying to think of a
Yeah.
really posh area around here and saying like,
The thing is, you say Caterham.
I want myself-
Posh. I've worked in there a few
No, but-
times. It's not really.
but my point, and then saying
I mean,
like,
it's just high house prices.
and then
isn't
sort of saying like, oh, I'm a South Londoner. And you're like, you're from south of London. Let's not,
it?
you
Yeah,
know,
you're in Caterham, mate.
let's not take the
Croydon.
piss. I mean, you're literally on the M25.
Yeah, you're not in Selhurst.
But that's what I'm trying to equate it to.
Yeah, no, I get that. What do you think about Rishi Sunak not voting?
Oh, Rishi
And all of his
Rishi
interviews during the week to be like, I'm not going to get involved.
sin action. It's his trademark.
Rishi's in action, is that what?
It's his trade.
Oh, in action, yeah.
It's
sorry.
his
I was thinking
absolute
like, he's in
trademark.
action.
Trademark of his term in office.
I really don't get
I'm
it
faced
either.
with a decision. Well, I might just do nothing and hope that it goes away
The only reason
and again,
I can
particularly
think
with Boris.
why he hasn't stood up to Boris and made it very public that he the Conservatives don't back anything to do with him is I can only assume he's had pressure from within the party to stay the fuck out of it.
So much pressure, it's popped his spine out
Yeah.
because he's got no fucking backbone.
But I've not heard any. I've listened to quite a bit about it, and no one's saying he's been under pressure. He's just, for whatever reason, just chosen not to.
He got there.
Because of
forget the chancellor and stuff. He got to prime minister by being stable, for want of a better term. And the way he was
Because of
stable,
furlough.
but the way he was stable, as an option as prime minister, the way he was stable was because the other options, that is to say Johnson and Liz Truss,
Yeah.
were batshit fucking crazy.
But the thing is, he didn't, did he? He lost to Liz Truss.
No. But that's my point. So
Yeah.
when Liz Truss was ousted,
Yeah.
and it was like, well, let's just go for Rishi, and it was like, okay, yeah, Rishi's stable, Rishi's calm.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, all Rishi's done is nothing compared to Liz Truss, who did something, tanked the economy. Boris Johnson fucked the country.
Yeah.
So when you compare it to that, you're like, yeah, Rishi's good. It's like, no, but he hasn't done
No.
anything. And actually what he's done is, you know, we're looking at a mortgage crisis
Yeah.
under the current Tory plan. We're looking at, the cost of living crisis is only going up. It's
Yeah.
not getting worse. The rate, you know, all these things they're doing to try and reduce the rate of inflation are failing.
Yeah.
So the things he's are doing are bad. But in terms of making big calls,
He's not making any.
I'm not aware of him making a big call until he absolutely had to.
No, the only thing I can think of is him backing Suella Braverman and her rhetoric. He's decided to do that. He didn't have to. I think it's a real shame because apparently, from what I've heard, his basic plan was to put the next general election as far away as humanly possible. So there's talks that we're still potentially up to 18 months away from the next general election if he pushes it as far as he possibly can. And his hope is that basically in that time things just improve on their own and that he makes it look like do small things and make it look like they've affected things in a positive direction.
But it's not going to happen. All we're going to do is suffer for an extra,
but they're now saying that
few months.
The Tories are absolutely scared shitless that if by doing nothing as they are currently, that they might be served better not having Rishi Sunak in charge.
Yeah, there's rumblings.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. And one of
and
my
his
questions,
inability to deal with this Boris situation has been part of the push.
He's just shown no leadership in any way. And like James O'Brien even joked about that he might be seen in Ukraine the day of the vote or something like that. But he's on the day it was being debated, he was involved in some way and he opened something with Zelensky.
No, he chose to abstain.
Yeah.
And the fact is the motion went through heavily. He should have voted.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Even though it's like stabbing Boris in the back, it's like, no, you've
You
already stabbed him in the back.
Yeah.
You need to now stand by your knife.
Yeah.
And vote.
Yeah, because the thing is, if he does that, he can actually argue he was trying to signal
because the whole
that
time
he did the right thing.
The whole time the Tory party have been saying from day one, from every single scandal that they've had, we're going to wait for the report. We're not going to do anything. We're going to wait for the reports come out.
And he's done nothing.
And it's damning.
Yeah.
So really, by saying, I'm going to wait to see what the report finds. Well, the report's found. Now you've got to say, actually, the report has found something not good. So we're going to act on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what makes me angry more than anything is going back to what we were saying earlier in terms of Boris doesn't really face any consequences of this.
No.
He can run to be an MP again. He's not excluded from doing that ever again.
And I'm sure you do know what he's now doing.
Oh, what? a £1 million job, being a weekly columnist
at the Daily Mail.
Yeah.
Who's by the... Oh, no, not the Daily Mail, the Daily Telegraph. Have you seen their new logo?
No.
Very Nazi-ish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up.
Hang on, I'll see if I can get it up. But...
but, like, he's, since leaving being Prime Minister, made £5 million and just brought a £4 million home. The guy's fine. He's not suffered in any way. He's not lost anything. Oh, no, sorry. He's lost probably about 80 grand a year being an MP. And that's about it. And it just makes me sick, to be honest.
Oh, I'm not going to see it. They've obviously changed it. But it was like that, but red instead of black.
Yeah.
It was like red and then the white and the black. It did look quite bad. But it doesn't matter anyway. That's by the
point. Yeah, like, he's going to be fine. He's set himself up well. He can potentially, if the Conservatives do absolutely terribly in the next general election, maybe test the waters.
By the way,
because the problem is, I was listening to someone the other day, he won't want to be an opposition leader.
No.
That doesn't...
He wants power.
He wants the big job. So he's only going to do that if he believes he has a chance of doing that again. So I don't think he'd happily serve as the...
And also, with all due respect, opposition leader is... The whole job is... Well, it's not. It's promoting yourself, really.
Yeah.
But it's holding the government to account. It's holding them in check. It's... You can't affect the decisions, particularly if you're in a minority if they're in a majority government. But what you can do is you can keep asking questions and you can keep...
And point it out to the public.
Keep making the public aware, and that's just not who Boris is.
No.
He doesn't want to hold someone... He didn't even turn up to his own
Cobra
meetings.
Because he doesn't actually care about politics being clean or the people being served.
Doesn't care about politics, yeah.
He just cares about being in a position of power and being able to influence whatever suits his life at the time. And that's it. Do you think, speaking of holding them to account, do you think Starmer is doing that at the moment?
No, we've said before, it's like he's got an open goal and he's decided to, start trying to clear the line.
Yeah, and I was listening to something earlier that he should...
It's like watching Diana Ross taking that penalty.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, my goodness. Well, at the opening of the 1994 World Cup.
I was 3 years old.
It's so good. She's doing a performance.
Yeah.
And, there's the goal, and she runs up to take a penalty. And
Does she fall
the
over?
whole idea is, she scores the penalty and the goal splits in half, and it's like, yeah, cool.
Right.
she punts it well wide, and then the goal splits anyway because it's like a timer thing. It's phenomenal. But that's kind of what it's like for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, Keir, it's so fucking easy to be the leader of the opposition of this government.
Like, what he seems to do during PMQs particularly is he'll pick one line of attack and just keep going after that. Whereas what he's not doing is using each question to knit together like a sequence of like, you're failing at this, you're failing at this, you're failing at
But
this,
also
you're failing at this.
Also, he's not opposing. He's
No.
actually saying, actually, we can do a lot of Tory policies better. It's like the people don't want Tory policies.
No.
That's part of the thing.
No, and the other problem is he's then not telling us what he is going to do. And when they do, they change it.
They change their mind anyway. Yeah,
So
they backtrack.
You can't... It's very difficult to trust Sir Keir Starmer at the moment. But despite that, I still believe that if we had a general election tomorrow, it would be in everyone's best interest to vote for Labour rather than Conservative.
Oh, we've said it a million times before. If someone's, you know, stabbing you in the chest and then someone offers to come along and punch you in the arm, yeah, you don't want to be punched in the arm all the time, but my God, you'd absolutely take the upgrade. You know, it's better than where you were.
Yeah.
So better doesn't always mean good, but my God, we've got to do something. We've got to move in some kind of direction.
Well, about doing something, one of the questions I wanted to ask is, we sort of sit here and lambast them, but we rarely like try and think of anything or like suggest anything we should all try and get behind, or do you know what I mean? Like, what could we do to clean up politics?
To clean it up?
Yeah.
I think it's a generational fight. I don't think that happens overnight. I think you have to be... I think a lot of it depends on the... I think you've got to have clearer rules on donations, finances. That's got to be a lot more. You've got to have stricter regulations. You know, some kind of fit and proper test for people donating money to political parties. I think any kind of awarding of contracts has got to be, again, a lot clearer and a lot more. You know, there's got to be policies that are and we've got to try and reduce the number of loopholes. Well, I know that's easier said than done, but I also think a lot of it comes down to the speaker and the strength of the speaker. For example, Boris has spent the last we're trying to hold him accountable. He spent the last 3 years lying. Yeah. Everyone knows it. And like I said, take you back to Dawn Butler, the only one who called it out was ejected from Parliament or from the Houses of Commons for speaking the truth. It's that kind of thing we've got to get. And also we've got to... It's a bravery thing as well, because people kind of... when we look at this current government and a lot of their policies and a lot of the words they're using when they promote themselves, and a lot of the language they're using, we talk about fascism and we talk about Nazism, and the fact is then they go, well, you're just being silly, of course. But the fact is, we have to call it out when we see it, because we don't want to go back to 1940, to 1940 Germany. We said it before. It didn't start with just going out and killing Jews. It started with the language used. It started with campaigns in the papers. It started with demonising people. It started with policies that promoted one and crushed another. Yeah. And so when we see that, we have to be able to say, that whole Gary Lineker thing, where it was like he got, suspended and he got this and that and the other. And it's like, no, we have to be able to say that's very close to being the one of, do you remember that worst fucking thing, most famous, certainly, genocides that's happened in the history of mankind, recent human history anyway. Yeah. You're getting dangerously close to, you're on that path. You're not there, but you're on that path, and we need to be able to call it out.
To get there is ridiculous.
To go, you're acting like a Nazi, and then to go, that's, we can't use that word, it's like, no, if you're acting like a Nazi, I'm going to tell you you're acting like a Nazi. Is,
I mean, when even, like, leading...
I know that's not entirely the point. Apologies, I've gone off topic.
Jewish support groups have backed it as well, haven't they? He's absolutely spot on. It's exactly the same sort of rhetoric. And I've heard him talk about it since, and he's like, he would do it again. And I think people need to do that. I think for me, to clean up politics, the answer's simple, the delivery isn't, and it's to remove money from politics. I don't really think you can have a donation system without it being rigged, because whether no matter how strictly you make those rules, a conversation can always happen behind closed doors where if I give you X amount of money, this is what I expect in return. That's always going to go on as long as you
And I
accept
also
donations.
think it's a lot of a bigger task than cleaning up politics.
Yeah.
But I think we need to tackle a fairer media system.
Yeah.
Because the influence of that on the masses is incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
They're the ones supporting these policies, as long as the right money's changing hands in the right ways.
Yeah. And
till
we
it changes.
On certain things.
But they're part of the problem. I mean, do you remember there was that period where like 3 cabinet members had spouses who were editors or former editors of major newspapers.
Yeah.
And it's like that's part of the dirtiness of probably.
Well.
Yeah, that's part of the problem.
Yeah, I think one of the other things I'd get rid of if it was me would be second jobs. You should
100%.
Like if you're an MP, and the thing is, I'm not saying it shouldn't be a well paid profession, but you shouldn't be rich from being an MP.
No.
And there are far
you
too
can be
many
rich and
MPs.
be an MP.
Absolutely. Earn your money and then become an MP.
Yeah.
Don't have an issue with that. But you should not be able to line your pockets by serving the people.
Yeah, because what that does is, as it has done, it opens it up for lobbying.
And the only reason these people get these second jobs is because they have the first one. Without the first one, they wouldn't have got it.
Opens up for lobbying, and it also opens up for corruption of the masses when people are journalists. They're writing in papers and stuff, and you're like talking on TV shows.
Sitting MPs, I think there's up to 5 now. Lee Anderson's been hired by GB News as well, so it's going to be 5.
Because that was dismissed because
MPs.
They said you can't host a news program.
Yeah.
Or on a news channel. And then basically Lee Anderson made the argument of going, well, I'm not hosting a news, and it's like GB News has news in the fucking name. And do you know what they found? The body that were investigating it.
Oh, they found in favour of them.
Yeah,
didn't
they dismissed it. Said it's not a news channel, it's not a news program, therefore it's fine.
It?
It's like it's got news in the fucking name. it lauds itself as an alternative news channel.
And with these second jobs, they're normally on more than what they're earning.
Hundreds of thousands.
Are you telling me that someone being paid 250 grand to sit as a consultant on some board somewhere
for half an hour a year
isn't going to do more for them than they are for their constituents and the country earning 80,000?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
Those two things would clear it up immensely.
Shall we, at risk of moving on too quickly, shall we discuss something else that perhaps should be abolished and gotten rid of?
Submarines?
In my view. Oh my God, yes, we've got to talk about that.
Just thought that was a nice
But the honours list.
Yes.
It's quite interesting. I thought we were on a similar page. I mean, we're not that far apart on this.
No,
but we do
I think
have different
in terms
views.
of what we have an issue about the honours system, how it's currently being utilised, we are in agreement. It's abhorrent. It's complete. But I think a fundamental reason as to why they would have had that system in the beginning was it was to reward people for outstanding public service.
But that's what I said, and I said to you, if there was a way to make it a purely meritocratic,
I wouldn't be against that.
Process.
Like, I don't necessarily have an issue with a prime minister to say, even Tony Blair, when he stepped down as maybe within, because he had to. What did he resign for? Was it just because
Pressure from the party?
Or was it over the whole Iraq thing? All right, so maybe not Tony Blair, but Gordon Brown.
I mean, the war crimes.
The war crime. What about Gordon Brown? What did he resign for?
He got beaten in the
right.
The election.
So yeah, right. Take Gordon Brown. I have no issue with someone like Gordon Brown being able to submit an honours list, but anyone who's had to resign in disgrace or resign for any reason that is even connected to them doing something wrong, not doing their job properly, whatever it might be, they should not be allowed to submit an honours list.
Do you know, it's funny because you have to go
and
back.
I think it should be limited to the number as well. I don't think you should be able to give a lift of 50
to
people where your fucking hairdresser's getting an
You
honour.
have to go back to Tony Blair when a Conservative Prime Minister was beaten in an election.
Yeah.
And didn't step down.
Because they did something.
Cameron resigned. May resigned.
May resigned not because of a scandal, but because the party didn't want her anymore.
The party didn't vote in favour of her
proposal. I wouldn't have an issue with
but
Theresa May.
She resigned. Cameron resigned. Truss resigned.
resigned
Johnson
because of Brexit.
resigned.
Yeah. I don't think Rishi Sunak probably won't resign. He'll lose.
But then again, like we said, there's stirrings.
Yeah, I just...
They can't afford another resignation.
No,
I know they're fucked already,
I
but they
think
can't
the
afford
calls for
another
a general
resignation.
election would be too...
They'd have to.
Yeah, and I think they're too busy trying to line their pockets
Yeah.
in the meantime to risk losing
But
power at the
my
moment.
view on it is this. I don't agree with the honest list. I don't believe any Prime Minister, any person in politics
Yeah.
should be able to submit. I think they can nominate, but I think if
So
we...
should there be
like
an
I said to you,
independent board?
yeah, it should
or-
be its own thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it should
Can
be...
the monarch still contribute
should
towards
be-
it? Not necessarily
Again,
decide it,
I
but submit
think-
names. And
I think, well, given that it's a monarchy thing,
well, yeah, it's them awarding it.
I think
isn't it?
really we've got to say the monarch can accept or reject someone
Yeah, okay.
because it's a monarch. It's a
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a
They're the
king's
one
honours
that's
list. It's a
actually-
queen's honours list.
Yeah.
That's the point of it.
Yeah, that's a
But
fair
I do
point.
think it should be its panel. I think I don't have a problem with people in politics nominating people.
Yeah.
But it's a meritocracy, so you can't say, "Oh, I think fucking any of the what's the son of a bitch who flipped everyone off who was education secretary for about
Oh, I
5
know,
minutes."
the female lady, I
Andrea
can't remember.
Jenkins,
That's
no,
it. Angela Jenkins.
like her.
Yeah.
She shouldn't be able to
Jenkins.
go. I think she shouldn't go based on what. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, I think this, and I think this could be a big call.
Right.
This could split the room. I don't think you should be nominated. You should be allowed to be nominated for just doing your job, and by that I mean politics. You might have served the country well, but technically your job was to serve the country. So I don't think you should be nominated for an honours.
So, for example, Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
Let's use him. Now, I have complicated
Obviously,
feelings about Churchill.
Obviously, it was exceptional circumstances when he led them. That
So would you say
in
it
the
was fair he was
30s,
made Sir
40s.
Winston Churchill?
no,
Okay, because it was just his job.
sort of. Like, I know that's a big claim, but if you're going to look at an
It
honours
is.
list,
I do understand
But
what
do
you're
you
saying.
sort of know the point I'm trying to
I understand
make?
the point you're making, but I do think there would definitely
if you're a
be
public servant,
circumstances-
this is my point. If you're a public servant,
your job is to serve the public.
you should not be allowed to, you should not be merited on public service. Winston Churchill, you could make an argument that he went above and beyond
Yeah.
because he wasn't just serving the public. It was during wartime. It was,
Things were like, honestly,
know.
things were shit.
but like any prime minister since,
Yeah.
you can't be awarded for services, for public services because.
I mean, when you've got people like Ted Heath, and I'm not going to go into why I have an issue with Ted Heath.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
Look, with all of these systems, there are very valid reasons to get rid of them in terms of what it entrenches, what it symbolises. Like, what does it say to the public? And I'm not going to name the girl, but there's a 29-year-old woman that's been made a dame, and she's going to have a position in the House of Lords. And she worked for Boris for maybe a couple of years.
Mm.
And there's allegations of why.
Well, there is when Boris and women are involved.
Yeah, and it's funny. I obviously
Do you think him
ridiculous
and Doris banged?
I'd be amazed if they didn't.
Yeah, me
Honestly,
too.
she seems
Well into him.
That might be the only reason why he didn't, because I reckon there's probably moments where she absolutely layered it on thick, and he was like, "This is grubby even for me." Like, there's a level of
Even for me, that's low.
there's a level of respect I need to have for a woman to be able to do that. And right now, I have zero.
I don't respect you.
No.
Look at you.
Yeah, I can genuinely see that. But yeah, I can see it going either way with them too.
But yeah, that's my view on the honours list. I don't think it should
I
exist, but if it should, it
I
should be
would
an
have no
independent panel
issue
that
with
it
it.
purely is.
I would have no
on
issue
merit.
with that. I'd be happy to compromise on that and the disgraced XPM.
But that's like, what would your view of the honours list be? You would allow prime ministers to do it, but none that resigned.
yeah, because
How do you define? You're talking about resigned like in disgrace kind of thing or scandal. How
or
do you
like, for
decide-
example, like I was sort of differentiating it in the sense like
legal?
anything legal, anything like
Well, no, but
like, for example, with Tony Blair, he resigned because there was a scandal surrounding him at the time and his party demanded he needed to leave. Theresa May resigned because her party wanted her to leave, but there was nothing. It wasn't like.
But
there
that's
was a
easy
Coke
for us to say in
scandal or-
conversation. But in terms of putting it down in policy, on paper, how do you define legally between
I mean, you'd need a lawyer to give you the legalese
someone
for
who
it.
someone who
You could probably do it in the very basic way they do in most contracts that if you bring any disrepute on yourself or your profession.
That's hard against the Tories because there's no repute to begin with. Do you know what, you know?
No, but that would probably be the legalese you would most like. That's the sort of thing you're looking at, aren't you?
You know, it would be like one of the, you know, for the Tories.
So
it's
like if you get caught doing a line with some hookers, then, you know, we're probably going to kick you out and you're not going to get to submitting honours. Do you know what I mean?
If that's like I said with the Tory party, you know, it would very much be a case of you've brought shame.
No, but then we don't need to worry about the honour system because
you've brought shame to this party. It's like, to this party, shame. Did we have any?
Yeah.
Good God, is that buried somewhere in a cabinet?
So, like, for example, Boris should not only not be able to dish out honours, I think under his behaviour should never be allowed to receive one either. Because that's something no one's talked about, is like what happens
I also
if
think
Rishi or someone else down the line nominates him for a peerage or
I also think
to be a
that,
lord. Can you be a lord if you've been Prime Minister? You must be able to.
but I also think that what we should be doing is that the secret services, the intelligence services, the security services, that's the one I'm looking for.
Like MI5.
They should be able to blackball a person. For example, the concerns over Lebedev.
Yeah. The Lebedev lad.
They should have, you know, when they said we really, really don't think he should,
this isn't good
it shouldn't
for
have been Boris
security.
being able to say, "Oh well, you've advised me, and I'm going to pretend I never heard anything."
Yeah.
It should be them saying.
Well, the thing is, then you're getting into an argument of who's in control, aren't you? Really?
But then we
'Cause-
should get into an argument where they say, "Look, until our investigation on this person is complete and we can clear them,
Yeah.
you are not allowed to nominate this person."
Mm.
I think they should have some kind of say
Yeah. I
because
wouldn't
it's
have
for
an issue
national
with it, but-
security. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's
Yeah.
sitting in the
I
House of
think-
fucking Lords.
No.
Because it's not just the title that comes with it.
It's the access
You actually get to vote
and
on.
be a part
British
of making
democracy.
the laws in this country. Laws don't get passed without going through the
All
House
the
of
laws, all
Lords.
the policies, all the acts,
Yeah.
they go through the Lords.
And they get debated in the House of Lords.
So if the
as well.
security services have concerns over someone in the Lords and they get
They
in
should
anyway,
not
well,
be in
so
there.
hang on, this person that the security services has deemed dangerous to the UK,
Yeah.
or not, you know, that might be an exaggeration, but a risk to the UK national security is suddenly voting on our laws.
Yeah.
It's
And
ridiculous.
given a title.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fucked.
it is fucked.
Yeah, like I think it should still exist, but be heavily reformed
Yeah,
to
There definitely
restrict
needs-
access.
like I said, I think it should be scrapped, but I'm not against it being. Would you,
Because I
if
tell
you were nominated, would you accept
what, being a lord or any title,
any title, just any kind of peerage access, you know,
not from a Tory government.
but from a Labour government or a Green Lib Dem, whatever you might?
Potentially, yeah. I think I would. I think I'm vain. I'm just being honest in that, like, I'm probably vain enough. It's like, I remember growing up, you used to hear that, like, if you paid a couple of million to whoever the
Yeah, you get
ruling
you
party
get
is, you'll get a knighthood.
yeah.
And I always said, like, if I won 100 million on the Euros, I'd wait till Labour are in charge. I wouldn't give 2 mil to the
To the Tories.
Tories.
No, fair enough.
I'd buy Sir Keir Starmer a holiday home or redecorate his house for him. Do you know what I mean?
Buy him a curry. He likes curry.
Or set up a loan for him. Do you know what I mean? Something like
Secure some kind of
Yeah.
facilitate some kind of
that. Yeah.
massive loan from like a
Yeah.
far
Get
flung
involved with the
cousin or something.
trade union overlords. Do you know what I mean? I'd get involved in all that.
That's something that I think Keir
What about
Starmer's
you?
fucking.
I'm assuming not. You'd
No, like
reject
don't
it.
get me wrong. I would love to have been. I'd love to be Sir Jake. I really would. And
But
look,
just on moral grounds.
yeah,
you
I
just
make all my
couldn't do
dates
it.
call me that at the end of the night. Sure.
Good evening, my lord.
Yes. You're great.
Your eminence.
But no, I don't agree with the system, so I can't in all good. But I
No,
don't agree
that's fair.
equally. I don't agree with the monarchy, so I can't in all good conscience take.
Get down on one knee in front of the
I
monarch
can't
and get
in all good-
knighted. Yeah, no, I get that.
So I
I
would
think
reject it.
Lords, if I had a real moral objection to it, I think Lords I could get past because of what you're doing in the House of Lords. If you want to be an active member and help shape the laws and do all of that, then I think that could be different. I think you could, in your head as well, maybe even consider doing that because of the good effect, or would it still be?
I know I can see it and I can see the pros of it, but I
Yeah.
think just given my views on it,
You just
it would
couldn't-
feel very hypocritical to take that.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I justified it and said, well, I'm fighting the system from the inside,
Yeah.
it wouldn't
They're still
it
sucking
wouldn't
at the
sit
teat of
right with me.
power.
Yeah, it wouldn't sit right. So I don't think I would.
No, I mean, I've been fairly open about my disgust of
Me.
people like sucking at the teat of power, but I would probably, if it was life changing enough,
You'd have a little nibble.
not the conservative tit of power, but definitely a more left leaning,
No, you don't want
centrist tit of power.
you don't want the nanny's bosom.
No,
You want au natural
I
breast.
don't know if I'd suck on Sakir Starmer's.
You want woman's breast.
Yeah,
Front sauce.
I was about to say something deeply inappropriate, and I'm glad I didn't.
Say it.
No, it was something
Say
about Angela Rayner.
Oh, you want to have a go on Angela Rayner?
Yeah, and I was just like, no, that's inappropriate. I respect her as a politician and as a person.
I do too.
Yeah.
Do you know? No, I can't make that.
Do you
link.
think she's too common? I wasn't.
No.
Quite, do you think she's too common? No, not in general.
No.
for
I know what you mean. For
to
leadership.
be leadership,
Um,
like to potentially be the next leader.
no, I think she's too female.
Yeah.
I think that goes against her more than any kind of common touch.
What, in the Labour Party?
Because you're dealing
Or
with the
with the
voting
public.
public.
Yeah, but then the Conservatives have had more. They've had three female prime ministers. I know one of them wasn't elected.
Yeah. I think, like I said to you, I think May kind of fucked it for female PMs. Unfortunately,
What
just
about
because of the way
Liz?
it went. And Liz Truss has really fucked it for female PMs. I mean, she never
Yeah.
even got to be voted on the public. But,
Because like, and this is sound
And
misogynistic. Women talk a big game about like you put us in charge.
and to be fair to
No, and I have previously said I think women should be in charge.
To be
so
fair,
I'm just backing myself a little bit.
like Liz Truss, she only got in because her opponent was brown and
Basically,
and the people voting were racist.
Yeah.
Let's be fair, they were like, oh, a woman, or a brown
Are
guy.
you trying to say the Conservative membership are racist, Jake? At least a percentage.
I don't know if I'm trying. I think I'm doing quite a good job of it.
Yeah.
Certainly the voting section.
So do you know what? I would love it. Nothing would make me happier than knowing that there's some Tory gammon out there listening to this.
Getting wound up,
fucking
getting
hate
red
them.
faced. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking wokerati.
Yeah.
No, what was it?
Fucking snowflake.
What did Liz Truss call them? Call us the coalition or something.
Oh, the anti-growth
The
coalition.
anti-growth coalition. That's
yeah,
us.
Yeah. Oh, mate, I'm all about anti-growth.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
trying to lose weight.
And
Do you know what I mean?
also,
You lost a lot of weight. You're definitely part of the anti-growth.
yeah, I'm trying to
coalition.
reduce
There's
inflation.
only
Do
one
you know what I
sort
mean?
of
I don't want to
growth
grow
I'm
it.
into.
We're back to fluffing.
Yeah,
We've brought it full circle.
full circle.
Do you know what
Speaking
happens
about
after?
being
Do
in
you
a
know
full
what,
circle,
Do you know what happens
does
after?
that work?
Do you know what happens after fluffing?
What?
Someone gets fucked. Do you know who else is fucked?
Go on.
People in the sub.
That's right. We're talking about submarines.
Can I just say, I put this in my notes on the Monday when it had barely broken. Like, major news outlets were not even reporting this. And since then, it's become the fucking talking point of everything.
It's all over Twitter.
So can I just set this up? There's the actual submarine thing. They run like 2 expeditions a year.
Yeah.
There's one more planned for this year, 2 for next year. It's $250,000 a seat.
Tell the people how it's controlled, Jake.
It's controlled with like a Logitech fucking PlayStation controller.
It's like a knockoff PlayStation controller.
But that's not even the fact is, this is what baffles me the most. Okay,
There's no seats.
so let's say it all goes fine. You cramp yourself up in this tube, in like the back of a transit van almost, and you spend 8 hours the journey, 8 hours to go down, look around, and come back up.
What, just to go down?
Do you know where the only window is on the vehicle?
Isn't it at the back or something?
Above the toilet, at the back. That's it. Everything else you're looking at a screen. Why the fuck am I paying $250,000
Yeah.
sitting in the fucking cramped little tube for 8 hours on limited oxygen
You know why there's no windows?
to look at a fucking thing, to
You
look
know
at a
why, don't
screen?
you?
I said, because they went with Mac. Is that a kind of Apple joke? Is that what we're doing here?
No, not at all. It's because of the pressure from the ocean at that depth.
No.
The glass wouldn't withstand it.
Well, they got one though, haven't they?
Yeah, but that's like that. It will be something to do with the size, that it's a concentrated size.
I get
It's
it,
not
but
as-
putting it at the back by the toilet,
yeah, at least have it at the front.
and it's just nothing about it appeals to me. Because when I
I've got to be honest with you. When I saw a picture of it, I was like, I've got to admit, if I paid 250 grand and turned up to that, I'd be asking for a refund.
when I looked into it, I was like, that would be admittedly cool to go and look around the Titanic. That would be cool. Then you see how they do it
Yeah.
and like how much it costs. And you're like, that's not cool. That's someone who's got more money than sense.
Yeah. I mean, it shows that you really can't buy intelligence, doesn't it?
And can I just say as well, not to make light of it, but you know, a tragedy. Took 75 years to find the Titanic, and we knew more or less where it was. I mean, I know we know more or less where they are,
Yeah.
but it still took 75 years to
The
find
thing
it.
is,
It runs off the coast of
at time of recording, they've allegedly got about 17 hours left of oxygen if the vessel is still viable. Because I've also been reading online, they reckon there's a good chance it's already
compromised.
yeah, and that they will most likely already be.
Well,
dead.
they've cut a lot of corners as well because they didn't think of basic safety measures in terms of like, okay, what happens if there's an emergency? Is there a beacon on board? Is there some kind of weight? No.
And one of the kickers
Nothing.
is all of the people have signed a waiver.
Yeah,
that are
saying
on
if you
that
die, you
thing.
die.
Yeah. So like, no family gets compensated. They get to keep running their business. I mean, I'd like to think
They will though.
that people like. Do you reckon more people will want to do it in some ridiculous
Here's my
way?
question to you as well, right? I think no, I don't think they will. I think people know what it is because they go into it. They just go, rich people going, yeah, explore the Titanic. Okay,
Yeah.
now they know what it involves and that there's a very real chance of death. But now they know what it involves. You go,
Did you hear
no thanks.
that there is a billionaire? Apparently, one of the people on the sub. Did you hear about that?
Well, there's a billionaire.
Yeah, that one of the people on it is a billionaire.
Colour me shocked, aren't they all?
But do you know what the kicker is? Did you hear about his stepson?
Oh, his stepson's.
He was at a Blink-182 concert.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that.
And he was asked about it, and I've got a quote here. He said, "It might be distasteful being here, but my family would want me to be at the Blink-182 show."
Can I just say, I've got tickets to see Blink-182 this year.
Yeah.
And if some tragedy
Did you say
would...
182?
Yeah.
It's 182.
No, 182.
No one says 182.
I think 182.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone say 182 other than you.
I think you're wrong.
This could
divide the room.
this has divided the room. It's absolutely
But
not
they,
182.
But I've got tickets to Blink-182. I'm saying it. And if some tragedy
Do you
were
know
to
what's going
befall
to
my...
really upset me is if I find out I'm wrong. That's really
No,
going to shake my core.
I've seen them talking about it.
Oh, and they say 182. Do
No, they say it's whatever. They were like, people can say it however the fuck they
Okay.
want. They're like, there's about 3 different ways
Well,
to
I'd
say it.
imagine the common parlance is
They will because one of them said,
182.
I think it was Mark Hoppus was saying like, the one nobody ever says is Blink 182. But he said if they want to, fucking go for it.
Yeah. Okay, so they don't care.
They don't care.
I do.
But if some tragedy were to befall my parents around that time,
Right.
I believe that they would want me to go to that concert.
Yeah, I mean,
The thing is, I say that as a joke. I believe my parents genuinely would want me to go to
Yeah.
that concert if they thought that they would, well, whatever, because they were like, nothing I can do,
it's going
it's gonna
to
help them. and they would want me to live my life. Obviously,
So if they
emotionally,
were
that's
in
very
a hostage
difficult.
situation,
Yeah.
they're being held at gunpoint in, I don't know, they've been on holiday somewhere. I'm not going to name anywhere for racial reasons, but they've gone on holiday. They've been taken captive. They're having the burlap sack ripped off their head and everything. Do you know what I mean?
Me there, like that,
revealed to
going,
the camera.
so you want how much? How much? Oh, they're playing the rock show. I've got to go. Bye. Bye. Talk to you later.
So you'd just be like, nah, you know.
I will quote Tom Cruise in this. We don't negotiate with terrorists. Somebody find out who the
Shut the
fuck those
thunder.
guys were. No, I got to be honest. Also, there's that thing of orcas attacking boats.
Oh, do you
And
reckon they might have got
sharks
hit by
Have recently started attacking boats as well.
oh shit.
And then orcas from the Atlantic and the Pacific
Are
had
the
like
fish
a
angry, Joe?
they had like a meeting in the Gulf of
Did you say
Mexico.
the sharks and the orcas?
No, the orcas from the Pacific and the Atlantic, like 2 different
met
sets of
up in the
orcas,
middle of the
all kind of
ocean.
had this little meeting. I assume to pass on the information. I hope,
Is this
and
like the squirrels moment in Rick and Morty?
but they're only attacking like yachts and rich people boats. I think the ocean
He's angry.
has decided us, me and you, and the people in general we're too Rishi Sunak-esque. We don't act enough to actually help the planet. So we're not doing anything to curtail rich people and their habits. So the ocean is doing it instead. They are killing off the rich people that are killing the planets. They're going after the yachts. They're going after the expensive submarines.
They're also going after poor locals. Do Do you know what I mean? In where was it? Egypt.
What was that? I don't know.
He got
That.
mauled by a shark recently. He got eaten.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. Well, you know what the sharks are learning? They're new to this whole thing.
They haven't met up with the orcas yet.
No, they weren't part of the orcas. Had the meeting and they'll pass the notes down to the sharks.
Right,
They weren't
okay.
there for that,
That's fair.
but they're learning. Do you think the ocean is getting its own back?
Normally, it's me who's the conspiracy theorist.
Do you think the ocean is getting its own back? Because
I love the idea.
genuinely, it's just rich people that are getting fucked here.
I mean, I'm sure there's some normal people getting eaten, but I do love the idea that the sea has risen against the Tories of the world. Do you know what I mean? Whether they're English, domestic, or foreign,
Yeah.
Tories are Tories to them. Do you reckon they can smell it?
Yeah. Smells like racism.
Yeah.
Get them.
They smell rich.
We have like poor
How's a
people
whale?
smell.
I mean, I guess a whale's pretty big, isn't it? How big's an orca?
Pretty big. I mean, they're called orcas because they kill whales.
Okay.
That's a oh my god!
Are they the killer
Oh, am
whale?
I going? Yeah, am I going for my full fucking nerdy
You
autistic
going
moment here?
partridge?
Yes, I'm gonna do it. It's actually a common mistranslation. They're not killer whales; they're whale killers. That's the name.
Are they actually called whale killers?
They're called killer. We call them killer whales,
Right.
but the reason they got their name was because they are whale killers.
Because they
Yeah,
kill other
not because they're
whales.
whales, but because they kill whales. They're not even whales. I think
Yeah,
they're
but
like.
I got to be honest with you, bro. When I heard the phrase killer whales, my thoughts wasn't to be on the lookout for whales. Do you know what I mean? I assumed they were after other aquatic creatures. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
I didn't assume they were hunting
They're big.
humans
They're big
down.
dolphins.
But now,
Orcas, big dolphins.
they are.
Yeah.
They are killing people. They are killer whales.
Yeah, they're killing just rich people.
They're doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, fuck rich people,
Yeah.
as I say. Yeah,
Just don't let them
the
know
guy
about you.
there is. But do you know what's interesting is the debate. I'm not going in the sea. I know what the sea's doing.
What about the skies? Are you safe in the sky?
Skies are all right for now. I've not
Okay.
heard anything against it.
Okay. No
Um,
random hawk attacks or.
No, I mean I'm not taking any risks. I'm not even just in case it rains. I'm not even driving home. I'm getting the helicopter. We're going to go above the clouds. I'm not taking any risks on this shit.
That's understandable.
I don't want no like
Helicopters
orca
are a
coming
really
out.
safe way to travel.
I don't imagine if I get in the back of my car and an orca's just sitting there waiting
Yeah.
in the back seat, just sits up.
In the
like,
car?
yeah, in the car waiting for me.
How big's your car?
Heard you got some money, boy.
Where's my money, mate? How much to pay for that fake mustache?
How's the car big enough for me and the driver?
Right.
At least.
It's not big enough for an orca that you wouldn't know it sit on the back seat when you got in. And also you sit in the back with your when your driver's driving, so
I mean, there's lots of plots. There's lots of holes in this. I wouldn't
yeah.
worry too
Maybe
much
he's
on
hiding
picking
around
one.
the corner.
What, the orca?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they're quite clever. Have you ever seen orcas take down like penguins and seals in particular on icebergs?
What, just eat them?
No, when they knock them off.
No.
Have you seen that?
Oh, what, do they eat them underwater?
Well, they can only get them underwater. So when a seal's actually on an iceberg, whatever, it's safe. So the seals will mash up the fucking ice until a bit breaks away with the seal on. And then what they do is they swim in teams to create a wave to go over the iceberg. Then they duck under. The wave knocks the seal off. And then they get it.
You're freaking me the fuck out. I don't trust whales now.
Have you never seen
I feel
that?
like I should have been on the lookout for whales.
It's
during
clever
my life.
shit, man. Like, it is
It's pretty brutal.
fucking
though.
genius. Yeah, dolphins and orcas and
That's like
sort of
proper
orcas are
predatory
dolphins,
shit.
but it's genius shit.
It's predatory though.
It's like, you can't get me, son. It's like, you want to bet?
We'll dismantle the land you're sat on.
I will fuck you up.
Yeah, and the seal can't jump off the iceberg because there's orcas down there.
Yeah, they can't go anywhere. They genuinely
Yeah.
just have to kind of take it.
Shit.
Let's see. What did I have anything else on that? No, only that they had, just the irony of a maritime tragedy happening whilst exploring probably the most famous maritime disaster
So, yeah, it just
ever.
seems like the sea's not in it for the tourists.
Also, the fact of where it is, where it sunk, approximately
what, with the tide
approximately 350 miles off of St John's in Newfoundland in Canada.
Why is that funny?
It's just where it sunk. I didn't say it's funny. I just said
Oh,
that's where
I
it
thought
is.
you said what was even better was about where it was.
No, that's all I had. And the only other thing I had to discuss on that was
What?
There's been a lot of call to, get a search and rescue team down there, really help them, look for them, and the comparison was drawn immediately just to the public reaction, not to the actual response, because the responses were the same. People in danger, the teams react.
They don't withhold help.
But the public reaction to the Greek tragedy with the boat that went down, and approximately 200 migrants died
in
the belly of the boat. And the there were search teams, and they did go out and try and help and save them, and save the boat, and save the rescuers, and save the survivors. But the response was, fucking, why are we saving them, whatever. But equally, I would say to the people saying, well, they've made their choice and whatever. Well, these people signed an actual waiver.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are we looking for them? They made their choice.
Yeah, they knew that there was a good chance they would die.
Yeah, they signed a piece of paper that said, if I die, I die. And we're like, no, we should keep these, just for the public reaction. Like I said, the responses from the actual rescue teams were as they should be. They were professional. They don't find out who or what it is. Yeah. And the discussion around it.
Well,
do you think that's a fair? No, I don't mean do you think that point fair, but do you think I'm exaggerating that? Would you? Because you might say I've not really heard that. I've not really.
It's not something I had heard, but I can absolutely believe it, and it doesn't surprise me. This story is about it because if you watch the Madeleine McCann documentary on Netflix, they speak to, I'm pretty sure it's that one, they speak to a local mum who, I think, not long before Maddie went missing, her son went missing. It was very much like at a similar time, and the search for him, and she never got her son back.
Right, and so she was kind of saying,
and she was
why
like,
was there no national...
she's like, we basically got no help. And this stranger's child in our country got all of that attention and help. And the only difference is her son wasn't as white and blonde as Maddie McCann.
Wasn't as British.
Yeah. And I think, sadly, that it's a very white-centric media. And like when we talk about...
I don't disbelieve it at all.
No. Like in this country, any time a young black child overachieves in academics, we never mention their race, but the second they're involved in any violent crime or incident, their ethnicity is mentioned every single time.
I know I've spoken about it before, but the language used when describing criminals is, with white people, it's even if they are guilty, they're the man from, but with black people, it's the thug.
And it's the same.
It's the language. It's very persuasive. It's very
like the automatic assumption any time a Muslim man is involved in any incident,
his face brought into it.
His face brought into it. He's most likely an extremist straight away, whereas a white literal extremist who's into whatever version of the Christian faith he's into, shooting however many people in America, his faith isn't mentioned in any way. It's sadly just a very it's just racist and
if a deranged man does a deranged thing, his faith is irrelevant unless he claims to have done it under that faith. But a lot of the times, like I said, they're not. They're just adding it unnecessarily because it's a grab word. It's like
and it's also it's a deliberate attempt to make us think differently about different
fear-mongering
ethnicities. Like the reason you'll see in our media that the majority of the people coming to this country in boats are violent, sexually aggressive young men that just want to rape all our women or take all our jobs and take all our resources. We don't speak about white people in that way. We don't talk about Ukrainians in that way, that they're coming here to...
But we do talk about...
No one batted an eyelid about taking Ukrainian refugees in.
Albanians and stuff that way. I will say that they do talk about Albanians and stuff that way, and they're quite white.
Yeah.
I still agree with you.
But yeah,
I just for the sake of fairness,
fair enough. But I think in general, the media in the West,
I know sometimes we get accused of just sort of like joining together and being like da 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 da. But
that's fine.
Let's be fair. That's all I had to discuss.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty happy to leave it there. We're about an hour 10, so that feels like a pod to me.
Yeah, I mean, how do your ears feel?
My ears?
Wet?
Oh, mate.
Hard? Sopping?
They're quite moist.
I can barely hear you over the waves that are happening in my ears right now.
Yeah, I can actually see the splashing going
If
on.
I've shouted, I can only apologise.
I'm
going to
have to
can't
put
hear
them
through all
out
the
on the
moisture.
washing line, those headphones, aren't I?
Oh, 100%. I'd
Yeah.
wash them first.
Yeah.
You don't know where my ears have been.
I mean, I can't wash them. They're electric. I might give them a wipe down and then hang them out.
I would, though.
I would just mark them so I know they're yours because I don't want your wetness. I'm a
You're not a sharer?
happily engaged man. And I've got enough of my own.
So
wetness
you really
going
weren't
on.
when I asked you if you were hitched yourself to me. You really haven't.
Professionally
really-
and in terms of podcast terms, we are absolutely hitched together. I mean, like I said, any nonsense comes out, you're out, I'm afraid. I would replace you.
That's not very Nadine Dorothy, is it?
No. But then we don't know how she feels about paedophilia yet, so
I mean, given all that's going on, that'd be a wonderful thing to ask her, wouldn't it?
yeah. How do you feel about
You're pretty scummy and shitty on most things, Nadine, but
how
come
do you
on,
feel about pedos?
redeem yourself.
Yeah.
At least tell us you don't like pedos.
Yeah. So well, it depends who it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Depends how much money they're giving me.
Yeah. What they're promising me.
Yes, let me just make a quick call. Right, what do I need to say to this to get into the House of Lords? No, I don't like them. Right, I'm on it.
Yeah.
No, I don't like paedophilia.
No.
Can I come in now, for fuck's sake?
Do you know what? Because of who she is, I can't feel sorry for her.
Oh, not even in the slightest.
Um,
I think we should rename the House of Lords the No Nadine Dorries Club.
it's a bit of a mouthful.
Put her picture on the wall.
House
outside.
of Lords has a nice ring to
Put
it.
her picture on the door.
Well, you can make this
Yeah,
a
but House of
Nadine Dorries.
House of Nadine
podcast.
Dorries is much more
Would you
specific to
interview
her.
Nadine Dorries?
Yeah,
Would you?
I would love to.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't. I know.
Do you think she'd come here?
This is going to make me sound unbelievably big-headed.
You think you could rip her apart?
But I don't. Yeah, I think I'd be quite good at not letting her just do
Get
that
away
thing where
with
they
it.
waffle or they don't answer the question. I would.
I think the very easy
I wouldn't
way
let them
that-
go on too on as well because sometimes
Yeah.
they do that thing where they kind of what's the term when you just talk
Waffle. Phil.
filibuster. They just kind of filibuster an interview
Yeah.
a little bit where they
They
just keep
fluff the
going.
conversation, if
They
you
fluff
will.
the conversation. I think I'd let that go for a bit,
Yeah.
but then I'd be cutting in and saying, answer the question. You know, that's and then turning it and saying, look, if you're not answering the question, then what you're really saying is this.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? Deny that or answer the question? You know, accept that or answer the question. Do you think? Would you interview her?
Yeah, I mean, I think
How do you
Oh.
think you'd be?
I'd try and do a bit more of a Prince Andrew interview and try and see if she just
Well,
hangs herself.
From what perspective?
Or in terms of like
No, but
the
which
Pizza Express one.
which one are you?
I'm the
You're the reporter.
interviewee.
You're okay.
I'm interviewing him.
Okay. You're
I'm-
not the Prince Andrew in that
No,
situation.
no, I'm absolutely not. I want to make this clear. I can sweat, and in fact, if you've been watching YouTube, you will have seen.
Yeah.
I have been dabbing my forehead throughout.
And
the
you've not been to
podcast.
Pizza Express for ages.
I really haven't actually.
No.
I used to love. They did a pizza with egg in the middle.
Yeah, like a Florentine.
Yeah, yeah. No, was it Florentine? I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's what
does
they're
that
called,
mean?
like
it was
pizza,
a
it's
fried
like
egg in the
A
middle.
Florentine when you put an egg on a
had
pizza.
ham and other bits
Yeah,
around it.
fried egg on the middle of a pizza, Florentine.
Florentine.
Florentine. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I know my food, bro.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't been to Pizza Express for a while.
And, you
And I
sweat, yeah, and you
absolutely
sweat.
can sweat. Anyone who's made love to me will testify.
I can testify.
Yeah.
Helps lube it up though.
Of course. Everything
Yeah.
every little helps, especially when you're working with what I've got.
It kind of, the sweat acts as a bit of a fluffer in itself.
No, absolutely.
Boom. Full circle.
Absolutely.
Full circle, baby.
So to bring it to an end, where can the people find us, Jake?
Why don't you tell them?
Fine. I
Hang
will.
on. He always asks me. He never does it himself. He always says, where can they find him, Jake? He never says, let me tell you where they can find him, Jake.
Let me tell
This
you where
guy.
they can find us, Jake. Guys, you can find us at Swords Crossing on Twitter. On Facebook, it's just Crossing Swords. On Instagram,
No, it's not.
What do you mean?
It's not Crossing Swords on Twitter.
On Facebook?
Oh, I thought you said Twitter.
No. Why did he always does this? He interrupts me all the time.
Yeah, I do.
So Facebook is Crossing Swords. Twitter at Swords Crossing. On TikTok and Instagram, it's Crossing Swords _podcast. And if you wish to email us, it's crossingswords19@gmail.com. And it will all be on the screen.
Of course, I wanted to interrupt him again, but for the sake of promoting the pod, I decided that it was probably not the best idea.
No, probably not. But guys, please keep liking and subscribing. It's been great. More
you
people are
happy?
viewing.
Are you happy with the fourth wall break so far?
I think
Is that the
we've
kind of thing
improved
you
it.
wanted? Is that the kind of thing
Yeah,
you had in your
I
head?
like the idea of more monologues though. Bit Frank
Longer, a bit
Underwood,
longer,
you know,
longer monologues.
more sexual magnetism. You know, but that will come with time and with confidence and more connection to the camera and the people behind it.
I believe it.
Yeah,
We'll keep pursuing it.
yeah,
And let us know how we're getting on.
yeah.
Let us know
And
how you say Blink 182.
just
or Blink
fucking
182.
share some shit, you knobs. I went a bit scouse then. I didn't intend to.
Yeah, very Nadine Dorries.
Yeah, got her on the brain.
Who hasn't?
She's always on my mind.
Who hasn't?
Yeah.
But please share it.
Do you respect her, Jake?
Do I respect her?
Enough to fuck her? No, I'm joking.
I mean, I could probably only on one hand list the things that I respect less.
You respect your hand more.
But yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Me and these hands have been through quite a lot over the years.
I know they have.
Yeah, they have. Speaking of, I need to trim my nails.
Please do. I would do it for you if you like. Off pod, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not on camera.
OnlyFans,
We're trying to wrap
OnlyFans.
this up, bro.
Wrapping up.
Goodbye.